the number one thing and the one defining thing that will determine who wins tonight is pace. Good morning. Welcome to the episode of HardFoul Radio. Appreciate you for tuning in today. This is the show that values time. I value mine. You should value yours. So I appreciate you spending some of that value time here with me today. Let's get started. So all day today, you're going to hear a bunch of different reasons why Phoenix is going to go up 3-1 tonight in the NBA Finals. And then you're going to hear a bunch of reasons why Milwaukee's going to tie it up 2-2 in the Finals. People are going to tell you Giannis is on a roll. They can't stop him. He's going to score 40 again. What's Phoenix going to do? Devin Booker's cold. He just got benched. Is he tough enough to bounce back from that benching? They're going to give you generic reason after generic reason after generic reason. The same kind of generic reasons are going to give you for the Suns. Chris Paul, it's his time. Booker is going to bounce back. I believe in DeAndre Ayton. They're gonna build a wall. It's stuff that I'm not gonna sit here and come and tell you because I value your intelligence and I believe your intelligence is higher than that of a second grader. That you could sit there and look at the series and everybody knows, yes, these certain things are true. Very famously, Greg Popovich has been critical of the new style of the NBA. This is a quote from a couple years ago, and he's like, you know, back in the 90s and 2000s, you could look at a game and see who won, and you could look at the stats and go, okay, well, you got more rebounds, or you got more blocks, or you could go in your stat sheet, and there was different things you could tell to see who won a game. Then he was critical of the way the league is currently played, even though admitting the guys are more skilled. He's like, nowadays, you could look at a game and just go, oh, you see a three-point shot, you won the three-point battle, you won the game. So I don't believe the three-point shot will be the difference in tonight's game because I believe Phoenix is just a better three-point shooting team, and their three-point shooting will be better than the Bucks in essentially every game this series. But the number one thing and the one defining thing that will determine who wins tonight is pace. How fast is this game going to be played? In school, they used to give us these math worksheets, and it was essentially like 40, 50 questions. They were really basic multiplication, and it was, you have 2 minutes to finish it. And it was all simple equations. It was 7 times 2, it was 6 times 4, it's 3 times 8, just stuff to get your brain thinking. And the pace at which you had to do math problems, 8 times 3, 24, 7 times 2, 14, 6 times 3, 18. And they wanted you to go at this really fast pace and see how does your brain work when doing it at that fast pace. Which, by the way, that fast-paced math worksheet is where Milwaukee wants to be. Milwaukee wants to be the 6 times 2, 7 times 3, 4 times 2. They want to be fast. They want to be up and down the floor because that means the more time, the more transition they get, that means the more possible breakdowns to lead to threes, the less times Phoenix can actually set up a wall or a defensive game plan for Giannis. They're just a better team in transition. They are a younger team in terms of their star players. They play like a younger and more athletic team. Chris Paul's not trying to get him down the court that much anymore. Jay Crowder's not trying to play up and down the court like that. So Milwaukee wants to be the math worksheet where it's boom, 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 boom. And if they get that kind of pace and that kind of flow to the game, Milwaukee wins tonight. Now, I don't believe they get that kind of pace because the other kind of pace obviously coming from the other side, this is your standard word problem. This is read it out, take your time, show your work, do the math, complete. That is the kind of style and pace that Phoenix wants to play at. And that's why I believe Phoenix wins tonight. Because out of everybody in this series, Giannis has been the best player because you can't stop Giannis. But who has controlled the tempo more than Chris Paul? The answer is no one. Who can control tempo better than Chris Paul? The answer is no one. I also don't believe Devin Booker continues to be as bad or to play the way that he has played because even despite his recent struggle, I believe he still has the third most points ever for a player in their first postseason. I don't believe Devin is benched for the fourth quarter of this game. I think he was back out and he has a big game. But part of that is playing at Phoenix's pace. And the reason why, the pace will determine the entire game tonight. And no one is better at pace than Chris Paul. When Chris Paul came into the league, New Orleans played a very fast-paced game because Chris Paul was young. He had fresh legs. He was a rookie and a very young player, and he knew he was one of the fastest guys on the court. You could argue it's him, Tony Parker. The pace they wanted to play at was just faster than everybody. He gets to the Clippers. Once again, they're trying to go up and down the court, trying to play that lob style of basketball. He wanted to play fast, and he played fast. He gets to Houston, same thing. Then he goes to OKC, slows it down. We don't have as many weapons. We want to play a game that's closer to 190, not a game that's closer to 130, 120. This year with the Suns aren't a fast team. Even with Booker and Bridges and Ayton, they're not trying to play fast, run up and down the court a whole bunch of times. And when you stay in that slow-paced game, that's when you really start to expose the little things that you're not doing well. This is why the Spurs were so successful for years, is because the Spurs could play a very slow game, and in the half court, Tim Duncan, there's a reason why they call him the big fundamental. He was so sound in how he was executing his game plan, and the Spurs were so sound in how they executed. They just out-executed teams, even if they played slower. Even if they didn't have, quote-unquote, the offensive firepower that some of these other teams have. If you get in a half-court game with the Bucks, that's when Giannis, not having a complete skill set, it starts to show up. You get into a half-court game, that's when Chris Middleton, maybe not being ready for the moment, that's when it starts to show up. That's when Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez being streaky shooters, that's when it starts to show up. Devin Booker can score in the half court. Jay Crowder can score in the half court, being in terms of a corner guy. DeAndre Ayton can score in the half court. Phoenix wants to play a slow down game. They can execute. We all believe Phoenix to have the better coaching in this series. Coaching matters more in a half court where you can slow it down. There's a whole bunch of generic reasons why either team can win tonight. Pace determines this game. And that's why I got Phoenix going up 3-1 tonight.